Hi, it's Finley here from Mind Mechanics, and I want to talk to you about some techniques that you can use to beat your mind. And by that I mean destroy this negative circle, this negative thought circle that most people are suffering from. You can reach out to me to finleysmindmechanics@gmail.com, ask me anything. I'm available. I don't want anything from you. I'm not going to ask you money, try and sell you anything. That's not what I'm all about. I've got a normal job, and that's how I provide for my family, and I do this just from a place of honesty and compassion to try and help my fellow people, because I've come through a lot and I know there's people suffering out there, and I just want to try and share. Then hopefully it will help. Even just one person would be amazing. Right, so techniques beating the thought circle, the negative thought circle, which is, we'll quickly reiterate, conscious mind has a thought, passes to the unconscious mind, who enacts systems in the body, i.e. hormones, proteins, chemicals, in line with your thought process, which make you feel in the physical body, which affects your personality in the moment, which affects your personal reality, which affects your experience and interaction with the world, which then gives you a thought, and you're in the thought loop. Get that wrong, and you're in a negative loop, and you're under stress, and no creature can run under stress constantly day in, day out without getting disease, sickness in the body. So get the thought loop to a positive thought loop, and you literally create better health as well as mental health. Now, a couple of techniques. I was talking to a colleague the other day, and he says that his go-to place when he gets life is hard is his children and his family, and that's where he goes to find strength. And that, I said to him, that as a tool is a fantastic technique, because you know that you need to be strong for them, so he goes there to find his strength. Now, there's many places you can go to find strength to create a positive personality. If you're trying to get out of this negative mindset, and it's so strong and it's been on for so long, it's such a habitual thing that is so powerful. The neural network, the axons are so wide, it's firing so hard in your brain. You just feel like you can't. How do you shut the mind off? How do you stop the chatter? How do you make it positive? Well, I've stopped the chatter, so nothing goes on in my head now, unless I want it to, but that's taken time. And it's not that much time, I'll be honest with you. It can be done by anyone. But what I want to start you with is not shutting off the chatter because it's hard. Is we change the chatter first to a positive chatter. Let's just keep it. Let's work with what we've got. And then, in time, we'll work on shutting it up completely. And then you get complete control, and that's peace, complete peace. But first of all, we can make you feel better. So we overlay the negative chatter with positivity, yeah? So if you have a negative thought, don't force it out. Don't try and push it away. Don't give it any energy. Don't thank it for showing up. Nothing. Completely ignore it. Pull up a positive thought, overlay that over the negative thought. Yeah, just that's your new focus. So you give it as much energy as possible and focus, try and feel it, try and really live it, get it vivid in your mind. If you've got memories or something fun happened, you remember a good time with a friend, pull them out. Concentrate on reliving the positive things, because we spend so much time pulling up negative things. Pull up positive things more and relive them more. Remember them, write them down as they happen, and then later on relive them. And especially before bed, because you want to go to bed in a positive mindset, and then when you're in sleep, you'll have good dreams, Your dreams will be positive. And it may not happen straight away, but like any skill, it's practice. You might not be good at it at first, but don't give up. And I'm here to help, because I've been through it. If you want advice, just reach out to me. I don't want anything from you, no money. I'm not going to try and sell you anything. I'm just doing this out of care. Like we all should. Don't want any kudos for that or anything. That's just what we should do. We should be here to help each other. And if everybody did that, can you imagine what an oasis this planet would be? But back to the case in point. If you can't pull up something, maybe Sometimes in the early days, and even sometimes now, because it's a constant battle, because you are resurrecting yourself as a new personality, but the old network will be there, neural network, and it can be revived at any time if it gets really hard and you allow it. If you see my previous podcast about alcohol and drugs, I go into that in a little bit more detail. So sometimes in my head I would get angry and I would shout and I'd say, I'm in control in here, I'm running the show, yeah? And I'd get really motivated in my mind, say, you don't tell me what I think and when I think it, and stop with all these thoughts. And I'd get angry, and then that would fire up my brain, and then I would calm it down, gently say, right, now you're listening, now you see I'm in control, okay? Now I'm telling you what to do. So now you've fired up your brain, and then you go with that energy and you branch it off and take it in a positive way and say, now I'm grateful that I'm listening to myself now. I never say thank you. What I do is I say thank me. Who are you thanking? You're doing it. Thank you. To who? Thank me is what you want to say. But again, like I say to you about everything, if saying thank you works for you, then say that. I say thank me, because I'm thanking myself. I'm dealing with stuff. I'm sorting this out. I'm running a show. I'm God in here. I make what happens happen. And I decide my interaction with reality by deciding on my mindset. So use that anger, branch it off, then calm it down, take the energy with it, pull it along into a positive mindset. Okay, right, we're listening now, we're thinking positively. I am a good person, I am happy, smile, yeah? You need to convince the body that it's real. Okay, you need to convince the subconscious mind. The more, it's going to listen to whatever you think anyway, but the more vivid and the more things you can attach to it, the more powerful it's going to be. And if that doesn't work, right, if you can't do that, you can use, so he uses children, you can use anger, as I've shown you. You can just walk around and do what I call micro-meditation, which is constantly ongoing, but you might stop and then you'll pick it up again, and it's just saying it's positive affirmations. I am a good person, I am happy, I am compassionate, I am living in gratitude, I am the boss in here, I run the show, I decide what I think, and things like that, and go around just saying that, and as you say it, try imagine yourself as that thing. Now, young men are definitely going to get this, and I've not been privy to a young woman's mind, and I use this in one of my podcasts to prove that you can change your physiology by becoming sexually aroused by having a sexual fantasy, which proves that the mind doesn't know the difference between reality, because there's no one here except for yourself. You're making it all up, but it makes physical changes in your body, and that's always also been proved scientifically in other ways, but by thinking makes physical changes in your body. You're knocking on genetic door as well. If you hold a thought as a necessity, as a need, you will change. You can go to that and start a fantasy. If you've spent years as a young person doing that, or spent a lot of time, you'll have that strong memory network there, a neural network for a fantasy. And then you can pull on that and start a sexual fantasy, but then as with the anger, you change it. So you go, whatever the sexual fantasy is, change, and then you go, actually, isn't it really lovely that we're here together in your mind? For example, I'm just making it up, but that's what it all is, it's imagination. And you go, it's great that we're here together, I'm feeling a lot of joy and love in my heart. Are you? And then you get the imagined person to say yes, and say they're feeling the same. And then you branch off away from that fantasy, and you take that positive energy and go along the chain of whatever you've decided, like we just said, joy and love. And then you make up a new fantasy, but you've pulled the energy. That's a technique that I learned in my mind, so that one works really well for me. So there are a few techniques. You could be, I don't know, maybe you can't pull up a positive feeling in your mind, but you're someone who does something to go to sleep, like walks through a house, and imagines decorating the house. People have all different ways that they do with things and cope and go to sleep and stuff, and use that. Whatever's try and figure out what you've got, powerful networks, but stay away from the negative stuff, you know. Don't go into so-and-so said this and try and pull off with that, because you're reinforcing that negativity. Feelings are okay, like anger, love, ego, even people trying to overcome the ego. It's all part of you being a human being. Some of them you can hold on to and keep hanging on you all the time, like love, joy, compassion, gratitude, anger, ego, you know, other things, aggression. We hang them up, and now and again you might need to take them down and use them. Hopefully you don't, but just remember to put them back. You don't want to walk around in a state of anger or what ego running the show. You want to be running the show and contemplating what you're thinking and how you're feeling, how you're going to deal with this person or this situation. It must be, which a lot of people call mindfulness. You must be on point and be present. Once you start to be present, the world will look different, things will look different, your senses are really tuned in. And I said in the previous podcast, sometimes that can be scary because it's kind of like you're on drugs almost. Everything looks different and it can be big and really imposing. You can see detail. It's quite amazing in a way that we can be in one state and not know that this other state of ourself exists, that all human beings can have. And you can not be affected by anything outside of you because of your state inside. And that's why I always say, like, happiness is within yourself. But it's great saying all that, you know, without someone showing you the way or teaching you the tools, then it's not helpful. And some of the things I say to you hopefully fire some sense in you and give you some ideas, and then you can maybe come up with your own ideas and then share them. Please, you know, email me at finleysmindmechanics@gmail.com. You can get me Mind Mechanics Inner Circle on Spotify, on YouTube. You can get me, Finley Boland, on Facebook. You can get Mind Mechanics on YouTube. But reach out, you know. I'm on Twitter as well. And reach out and share. And let's all help each other. And do something good in the world. If we were all leaders, you can imagine what we could do. It'd be incredible. But they're just some tools that you can use, and that'll work for drink, drugs, stress, someone said something horrible to you, you've got worries, you don't feel worthy, you're not confident. All these things can be overwritten with basically a lie. Now that might sound like wrong to you, but don't think of it in terms of how you understand the word lie, because that's the thing about words. They're all just noises coming out of our mouth that we've learned to communicate. And like I said, they do have a vibration and tension with them. But as a human being, you can decide what that means to you. And they are all just words, so don't get caught up in them, that we've given meaning to. So you're imagining something, your imagination, you're fabricating it, but the more real you can make it in your mind, the stronger it's going to fire, and the more hormones and chemicals and proteins are going to be released in your body with more ferocity, because the more real it is. I'll give you an example of how your thoughts can change that. I'm sorry, I keep going to sexual things, but it's not the way I am, honestly, but it's something we all understand, and so it's easy to pick up. So when guys go to, say they're having trouble having a baby with a partner, and they go to give a sperm sample, right? And, you know, they might put porn in the room or whatever. If those guys don't get into the sexual fantasy well enough, they will say to them that your sperm is just, you're misfiring. You're firing blanks, as guys say. It's not working. But if you went into there and you weren't comfortable with doing that in this place, you know, going to this, what are they? I don't know what they are. They're centres, yeah, and going to a centre, going in a wee room and doing this to give it to a woman, say, oh, that was really making you stressed and you couldn't really feel the fantasy, it wouldn't be swimming, because there's no force, there's no belief. When you truly get the belief, and then you believe in what you're doing and it's a real fantasy, because, and your mind doesn't know the difference between that and reality anymore. We guys are swimming like crazy, and it works for everything. So you've got to be wanting the body to pump out strong chemicals with a strong intention, yeah? Hormones, chemicals and proteins. So believe in the fantasy of joy or love or confidence, whatever it is, as much as you can. Try and smell it, feel it, taste it, smile it in your mind. Bring other people in to interact with you in your mind and see yourself externally and looking through your own eyes. Don't always look at it externally where you're away looking at yourself, you know, chatting up a girl, or talking on a stage, or walking up to a group of people and having a really great conversation because you feel so confident. Do both. Externalize like you're looking at yourself, but go in and look out of your eyes. And if you find that hard, try and externalize yourself. So you're seeing yourself, and then say to yourself, I'm looking through my eyes in a mirror. And you can teach yourself to then be, so you're making that association in the brain, because association is a really powerful thing. Using association to teach. That is actually another tool, it reminds me. So you know how to ride a bike or do something really well if you've got a skill. That's another way to branch off the energy. So you're good at a skill, then use that association. Think about doing that skill and it'll fire up that brain network that you're really good at. It might be a profession. And then make it into a fantasy conversation and branch off what it is you want to happen. What is your real intention? Then pull that energy with you. Hopefully all that's made sense. I'll keep working on it myself and trying to get it across to you in a more easy way to understand. But thank you for coming and watching, and I hope this helps. Really be great to hear some of your stories, if any of it's ringing and firing with you, and give me some feedback so that I can do better in the future. And email me at finleysmindmechanics@gmail.com. All the best.